Hello, hello, hello. Music down. Gene licking the fingers. Thank you. Very helpful. Very helpful. And we should be live. I hope. Most likely. Who knows? Never seems like YouTube goes like as smoothly live as it should these days. It's not like flip a switch and I'm live. It's a delay, and that's hard to account for. But anyway, we're here. Live now. Dropping that on Twitter. Hi. Yes, thank you. Your hair is everywhere. I'm aware. You really need a brushing. Thanks. Finally catch live for once. Welcome in, Fuzzy Tomato Head. Yes. Victor, hello. Is it assembled? Is it partially assembled? I believe it's fully assembled. The Sovol Zero should be a fully assembled machine, I believe. We are focused like way too up. Let me adjust this camera angle. Bloop. That's better. I do believe that's better. All right. There we go. Okay. Hi, Gene Bean. Yes, thank you. Very helpful. I'm gonna grab the latest. I'm just now grabbing. Don't hit the microphone. I'm just grabbing the latest version of Orca Slicer because I haven't updated it lately because I've mostly been running the Prusa Core 1 or not 3D printing as of late. So I'm gonna grab that to be sure that the Sovol Zero is in Orca Slicer. I believe it is. My keyboard is covered in your hair. I'm here for the cat. Printer's a bonus. I mean, fair. So here's what we're unboxing. The Sovol Zero. Anybody's not familiar, $429. Things less than a Boron Zero kit. Fully assembled minus display, glass, and filament sensor. Okay. Other small pieces. I'm sure a spool holder too, probably. So yeah. It has 150 by 150 cubed build volume. People have been lately deciding that they hate that I say 150 cubed or build volume cubed, and I'm just going to keep saying it because of that. And yeah, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. Everybody should know, or well, I don't know, but many folks would know I adore Boron Zero printers, so I'm curious to get this thing out of the box and take a look at it. Hygiene Bean. So for $429, it seems like it could be a solid little machine and definitely easier than building your own. Why do you keep doing that? She sits down, I lean in, and she stands back up. Eric Lowe coming in with a super chat. First dono of the stream. Thank you very much, Eric Lowe, for the donation, for the stream contribution. I just realized that this light is much dimmer than it should be. That's better. That's better. I wonder why people say that. Cubed is the easiest way to say it. Because mathematically, it's technically not accurate. 150 millimeters cubed is technically the end of the equation, whereas we mean 150 by 150 by 150, which is 150 cubed, but not. It's people are being pedantic, is the reason. So it's just like an accepted way we refer to build volumes in 3D printing, and just people have started to be pedantic about the fact that, well, that's not technically accurate. So here we are. Just double checking a few things. Let's get Orca Slicer installing, and we get this thing up. I know, but everybody knows what you need. You mean pedanticness. There is that nature of things, like pedantic arguments don't leave room for the fact that language evolves. Like at the end of the day, everything I'm saying to you right now is made the hell up. Math is made up. Words are made up. Letters are made up. So If you understand what I'm saying and the information that I'm imparting to you, that's all that language is meant to do. It evolves, it changes, meanings changed. Just leave off the D. Cube, not cubed. I mean, yeah, 150 cube. I'm going to keep saying cubed. Honestly, the fact that it triggers some people is probably good for engagement. So, all right, time to get the I think it's going to go relatively quickly unboxing this thing. I don't expect us to be here for the regular 3 hours we usually would be for stream, but we shall see. I am usually wrong about my time estimates too. So, look out, Gene Bean. Okay, well, maybe I won't put this up on the bench. Sovol Zero. The box is bigger than I expected it to be, honestly. I know the machine is definitely bigger than a regular Zero. Let me know next time I'll set up a raid. Thanks, Steve. I know. You were already live by the time I decided I was actually going to go live, so I didn't want to bug you. Welcome in, Steve Build. Welcome in, Millennium Machine Works. Hello, hello, hello. Awful late for you, isn't it, Jake? You know what? 1 second. Gene, keep people entertained for a second. I'm going to grab my 0.1. I just want to have my 0.1 handy to compare. So if anybody's not familiar for some reason, Mr. Tiberium coming in with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much for the Stuff and Things Fund. That is greatly appreciated. Nah, only 10 here. Okay, my concept. You know what I need in the next studio? I never thought about this till just now, but I think it's going to be a great idea. I don't know. Okay, here, 2 things. 1, I try to avoid having a clock in the studio for 2 reasons. 1, I become way too concerned about what time it is, and while I have a hard time staying on task, I could probably use time like help. It would help my time blindness. It also makes me really conscious. Oh God, I just wasted an hour. Or blah blah blah. Like, so I hate it for that respect. 2, because when I'm filming, I don't like having anything in the background that shows progression of time. So like no moving images on a TV screen, no clock that it jumps when I edit, so you can't tell different times in an edit, because I'll often shuffle footage around. And yes, Mr. Tiberium, exactly that. A clock for streams at the very least, on the wall with like a few times around the world, like, you know, Sydney in Australia, London in England, New York time, so I at least have a concept when I'm streaming what time it is around the world for you folks. So that does make sense in that respect. I'll just have to like learn, maybe put it on a timer. It kicks on right before stream, something like that. Nothing moving except printers. Yes, but printers are constantly moving, so you can't really learn much from that. JA, welcome to, JA, thank you very much for joining up as a lab assistant. The support is appreciated. Thanks for becoming a channel member. So my Voron 0.1, which still needs a 0.2 overhaul, has a, let's get the other camera angle. So this is my 0.1. That's Gene and Gene's butt. Thanks, baby girl. So my 0.1 with the full Bondtech tool head on the mini afterburner. I haven't upgraded this to a 0.2 yet. It'll happen at some point. Obviously now it'll be in the next studio, but it will happen. And then I just left this Hue Forge print that they gave me at Rocky Mountain Wrap Fest last year in the bottom. Do you get daylight savings over there? UK had clocks move forward. Yes, we do. Any luck on the studio search? I've definitely found places, but I can't afford it yet, is basically what it comes down to. So we found a house at this point. We found a house that we are really happy with. We signed the lease this weekend. So we've got a house, but it's a smaller house, cheaper house, because it's a smaller house. So awesome. But it's smaller, so meaning I'm not going to have a studio in it. We're talking, Ruby's encouraging me to set up like a stream station in the garage. And she's like, I know it won't work for a full studio, but like at least you would have a stream set up there. So like Sunday morning streams that I try to do, I wouldn't have to roll out of bed, drive to the studio, wherever the studio ends up being, to do a stream, where I can just roll out of bed, get into the studio. Thursday night streams, you know, we can do hang out with Gene, because I don't want to have to drag Gene back and forth to the studio to do live streams. So like, I'm thinking about it, because I also want to set up a really nice live stream setup at the studio. I'm probably gonna have both in the end, hopefully. But okay, machine out of the way for now. I just want to have my Zero handy so we can compare this machine to it. House is good comes first, absolutely. I mean, that was I've looked for a studio, but nothing's decided there because house was more important. Our basement's not a thing in Oregon. You could just use that instead. Basements are really not a thing in Oregon. They exist. It's not quite as bad as California, but it's not quite as bad as California, but they are less common here, like a lot less common. Live stream in 2 places, stream Gene Cam while you're at the studio. That's not a bad idea, actually. I might set up like a mobile stream setup at the house and just ask Ruby to like set up a Gene Cam or something in like one of their favorite spots so we could just see the different animals throughout stream back at the house. That's not a bad idea. Bob Carnes, they only exist in very old homes. I've definitely noticed it's mostly older homes that have basements here. Don't know why. I don't get that, but whatever. Micro collar cam, yeah. Anyway, I found some really solid warehouse commercial spaces to make an excellent studio out of. I just need to pay for it. That's what it comes down to. I'm looking for sponsors. Just trying to lock in a sponsor contract. Get a contract in place with at least 1 or 2 companies to lock us in for a fairly long term, so I can make it make sense. That's all. So, Millennium Machine Works. You were saying you stopped using your V0 when you set up your Trident. I get that. My Zero is currently sitting on my floor. Haven't used it since my Micron Trident. Yeah, honestly, for me, in my opinion, I think 180 millimeter build volume is the ideal sweet spot. I think 180 millimeter build volume is like the sweet spot for a day-to-day printer. And that's why I really want to build a Salad Fork 180. And I'm waiting on Salad Fork 180 kits. Hobo Banana, YouTube didn't tell me you were going live. Of course not. Welcome in anyway. You're not that late. We're only been here 10, 15 minutes, so. How about a studio built into a container so you can take it everywhere you go in the future? Cool, yeah, not enough space. Nowhere near enough space. And echo nightmare. The whole goal is a bigger space. I need a bigger space. I want to go big with YouTube, with the Mandic really. I want to build bigger stuff. I want to take on bigger projects. I want to have room for more equipment. And I don't have that right now. So we're going to try and, use this to go bigger. Yeah, so, okay, let's get this thing out of the box. Are you helping? She made herself at home. Hi, can I help you? Beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. You stupid. Kitty co-host, yep, Gene is in the house. All right. I already did that. So, okay. Looks like we're going to have to grab the plastic time of so many printers these days coming out of the box. Ooh. A couple of plastic corner protectors up in top of the box. Into the bin they go. And out you come. Eventually, maybe. Oh. This is why I don't like doing this, companies. This is why I don't like doing this. It suctions the box on, so it doesn't want to come the hell off. This is dumb. And I don't have my razor knife handy to cut the box open. And I also want to put it back in the box after stream for the move. So, get the hell off of there. Ay, ay, ay. That was annoying. Okay. I've been looking at this machine because sometimes my Micron Plus is bigger than I need, but I have too many printers already, according to the wife. Well, according to the wife, I have too much of everything, so, you know. All right, I'll lower the desk a little bit. Bye, Gene. All right, up and top, we got a piece of foam on top here, and the glass top is inside of that foam. So I'll set that aside for a minute. What else is in here? Looks like more stuff. We've also got the spool holder, which is it's an injection molded version. It's an injection molded version of the Boron one, complete with Teflon tubing, rollers, filament runout sensor, a power cord, a build sheet, accessory box, and there's another pocket, screen, and the screen. Cool. All right, I'm gonna put these back in here real quick so I don't lose track of them. As I said, I'm gonna be putting this back in the box for the trip to the new house. Jose, welcome in, Jose. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jake, I do always think it should be a requirement for landlords to cover moving costs for tenants they have broken contract with. Yeah, see where you're at, and I don't disagree. The fun part is, like, our lease isn't being broken. Like, it's legally and technically it is considered an eviction, what's happening with us. But realistically, it's just that they chose not to renew our lease. It's called like a soft eviction or something like that. So it is what it is. Now that said, we're outside of Portland. We're just outside of the city. And where we are, they only legally have to give us 30 days notice. If we were in Portland proper, or the next county up where Portland is, Multnomah County, they would legally have had to give us 90 days notice that they were canceling the lease or not extending it. They would have had to give us 90 days, and they would have had to give us some compensation for kicking us to the curb. I think, as best as I was able to legally read it. Any which way, where we're at, we have no recourse. So, curious if your landlords are aware of your channel. Not to my knowledge. No idea. At least you get your security deposit back as it's an eviction. Oh, we should get our security deposit back. I don't see why we won't. So, no idea. But, you know, who knows? There shouldn't be any reason we don't get our security deposit back, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. So, I usually live by the don't count on getting your security deposit back, and then it's just a nice surprise when it comes back. Your PNW accent's getting better, pronounced Multnomah properly. I mean, that one was pretty easy for me to get. It's Tigard. I always say Tigard, and Ruby makes fun of me. That I have a hard time with. I know it's cooch, not couch. James found a new place. We found a new home. Not a studio, but we found a new home. So yes, we have found a new place. Just, yeah. Had a similar thing happen to me in SoCal once. Was very disruptive. Yeah, it is what it is. There's no good about it for sure. But it's not like we wanted to move, but whatever. We're looking forward to the new place. Glad to see you streaming with every good thing going on. Thank you, Gigantic. Tigard is easy. People struggle with Tualatin. That's how you say it, isn't it? Tualatin? I don't know. I'm from Pennsylvania, where a lot of things have native names. So, Conshohocken, Schuylkill, got it right. All right. Conshohocken, Schuylkill, Percy, where I'm from. I don't know. There's just so many things. It's a new place nearby or a bit further out. It's further out. It is and it isn't. It's just a hair further out of the city, but it's like just a different part of the city. It's a little further north. It's an area we didn't really want to go to. In full honesty, we really didn't want to move there. But the commercial real estate up there is a lot cheaper than it is here or in Portland proper. So for me, looking for studio space, it seems like anyway, I'm gonna have a much easier time. So that's kind of where we centered our home look. Gresham, no, Gresham's northeast. We're heading northwest. Hillsborough, whatever. I'll let you. Hillsborough. So yeah, it's not that much further from Ruby's studio. Like we Googled it while we were there. Ugh, yeah. We're not thrilled about it. The house is nice. We're happy about the house we landed with because there's so many cookie cutter developments, and it's in a cookie cutter development. But the houses in our development, at least, are like not the same model one after another in slightly different colors. They're at least somewhat varied, so it feels a little nicer. Whatever. We can see Mount Hood from our development where we are now. We're not going to be able to do that from the new place. So like that kind of sucks. But the commercial real estate's a lot cheaper out there. That's all there is to it. So yeah, I'm finding 1,000 square foot, 2,000 square foot shop spaces for like $1,500, $1,600. And so rent. We are not in a position to buy. That's part of what happened here is like we both were retooling our businesses. Like Ruby's opening the studio in Portland, which by the way, she's dropping a founders package. It's actually already dropped to her newsletter subscribers, but she's going to be dropping a video and making it public today. Long shot, but if anybody be interested, I might as well just tell you what the deal is. She also has a founders package going on like I do for my new studio. I actually robbed the founders package idea from her. Kind of, sort of. We kind of both had convergent ideas we put together. Her founders package is you get 50% off tattooing effectively. It's basically you buy 5 hours of tattooing, you get 5 hours free. You also get your name on a plaque on the wall in the studio. You get a new merch hoodie she designed and a laser engraved, that I'm going to have to make, laser engraved discount card for life that you get 10% off tattooing from her for life. So does she take long distance orders? I mean, she'll take your money, but you're going to have to come to her. So that was already something she was thinking about doing. And then when this all happened, we were like, well, you've got to do that now. Like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know, whatever. That's the deal she's dropping. I'll post about it later when the video of her announcing it to the public goes live. Makes me want to take an extended drive. And part of it was like a lot of her clients out on the East Coast. She's been flying back to the East Coast to finish tattoos, which like, yeah, she makes good money doing that, but then it costs her, hundreds of dollars for flights, and she's crashing with friends and having to buy takeout food while she's there. It ends up costing, her overhead goes up a lot doing that. Bring her to Smurf. I am planning to bring her to Smurf. We are planning to have her at the next Smurf. Hopefully. That is the goal. She won't be tattooing, but the goal is to have her at the next Smurf. But LTX Design, they did reach out. Your laser company did reach out. I haven't had any time for anything the last couple days, but thank you for that. I've been busy over at the studio. But yeah, her goal with this was to like offer such a good deal that her East Coast clients would be willing to travel out to Portland and get her a little more started here, where like she's in the flow of tattooing in Portland, getting the studio some foot traffic, getting word of mouth going, etc. So the whole goal is to like get this shop here in Portland rolling. So people have to travel to her for this. But yeah, I think it makes sense. Okay. Peeling this annoying tape, the fiber reinforced tape that leaves residue behind. Yep, left residue behind. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. A little bit of residue right there. I can't really tell. When does she open? Undetermined yet. It'll be in the next like 2 to 3 weeks. Studio is going to be opening the next 2 to 3 weeks. I've just got to finish work. As soon as this stream's over, I'm heading over there to work. I've been there like till midnight the last 3 nights working. So yeah, it'll be soon. She's got to go down to Salem and submit her license paperwork, occupancy, whatever the heck license, facility license it's called. And I've got to put up like smoke detector and that all. So she's up to fire code. And then I forget what else. And painting. So, I mean, like realistically, she's probably a week and a half, 2 weeks away from opening. Partly because I have a trip this week. I've got a business trip this week that I was going to cancel because of all this, but then we kind of decided I shouldn't cancel it because it could possibly bring in sponsors. So, yeah. So I won't be around to help finish it up, but I'll be back next weekend and then we will continue and try to get the stuff done. Ugh, that glue residue. And we get a peel now. Rapid TCT. No, unfortunately not Rapid. It's an event that's happening exactly the same time as Rapid, which Rapid would be a better idea for me to go to, but I would have had to pay out of pocket to go to Rapid. Whereas this event that I'm going to, it's kind of like a private trade show, effectively. It's really hard to explain. I've gone the last 3 or 4 years to this thing. It's a marketing company that I work with in South Carolina. They put on their own trade show for influencers and brands to get together. And it's this weird thing they started that is kind of neat, but it's like mostly home improvement DIY focused. So it's in my niche, but like I'm on the edge of that niche, whereas like a lot of the other people, like all they do is make woodworking or home improvement content that attend. So I'm kind of an oddball. But like Lowe's is there, Little Giant Ladders, Bessie Tools with their, sliding clamps and all. So like big brands that I don't have access to otherwise. So like, hey, I've got a new studio build. Lowe's, would you like to be a sponsor of the new studio? Is part of my week. So I have no expectation that I'm going to walk away with any sponsorships, but I sure hope so. Home improvement and DIY was starting to pick up 3D printing, totally. I also had a meeting on Friday with a company about sponsorship, and they made a solid point of I don't want to get political, with the way the world is going right now, DIY and home improvement, and then also 3D printing and using 3D printing as a means of repairing your own stuff, is probably going to be a growing market for a little while. So private trade show is more efficient in gaining sponsorship funding. You can look to be more focused and not be overwhelmed by the whole event. That's the whole point why they put it on. The other point of it is when you go to a big trade show like the hardware show or whatever, national hardware show in Las Vegas or SEMA or something like that, I can walk up to a brand and I can strike sponsorship deals at an event like that. But they're also there selling stuff, and they're also there meeting with sales partners and companies that they work with at those events. Whereas this small trade show is just this marketing company connecting influencers to these brands. So everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's there for the same reason at this event. They're there because they know what we do and what we can bring to them. So like, it's a really solid idea. And I wish more folks were considering doing things like this. It's whatever. It's a really neat thing, but it's like, it's out of my niche. Helps the Bamboo sponsoring every woodworking channel. Yeah, they are definitely doing a lot of that. Zero G in the house. Welcome in. Get that nose fully covered and rammed up as many holes as possible kind of weekend. I mean, realistically, yeah. Yeah. In the weekend, in the UK, we call it lobbying, common in politics. Yep. I mean, that's reality. That's, reality of running a business in 2025. This camera is a little out of focus. I think. I think that's a little better. Better. Okay. So, yeah. Like Rapid would be easy. See, the thing about Rapid, like Rapid would be better for me because a lot of the companies I would approach at Rapid would already know who I am and what I do. Whereas this event's like just a different animal in that respect. Josh Kane coming in with a wonderful super chat. Always looking forward to your content. Thank you for everything. Josh, thank you for the support. It is greatly appreciated. I might as well drop that point there with Josh coming in with that excellent super chat. Thank you so much for that. There are links in the description. If you're not already signed up for the Patreon, you can join up on that to help fund Mandic Labs 2.0. And there's a Ko-Fi link down there as well. Super chats are appreciated. I am never going to look a gift horse in the mouth. That coffee thing, I get a little bit more percentage of that donation. I don't care. Send however you feel comfortable sending. Okay. The E0. Let's get back to this thing. Taking a look around this machine. There is the power inlet on the side. I think I kind of like that. So the power inlet's on the back left. So I could put this back up against the wall pretty well. I like that, I think. Back left inlet of power. Patreon membership grew nicely. It really did. And I'm going to be making a big thank you post tomorrow. I didn't want to rush to make a big thank you thing. I'm going to do a thank you tomorrow about it all. But seriously, everybody who, and it's not just people who donated money or joined the Patreon, whatever. Thank you. Just thank you. Sharing kind words in the chat. It's really meant a lot. It is a little high. That power inlet is a little high. We'll pop the back panel off and take a look at the electronics in a minute. I don't know, we were really a little distraught when we first got the news because it came as such a shock. And then the support from the community has been so, it's made Ruby feel better about things. I feel better about things. I really, really, really appreciate it. We're not there yet where I need to be to make everything make sense, but the help of the community has really lifted a lot of weight off our shoulders. And we really, really appreciate that. And I will be making a bigger, more public post about that. But thank you to everybody here. Again, if all you did was comment, share a video, whatever, that's still appreciated too. It's not just about the money. The moral support has been huge too. Okay. On this side, we get the, I'm going to lower that camera, get a better view of the machine, and a zoom in. Okay. Don't forget the Mandic needs you poster. Yeah, the Gene needs you. Or Gene wants you. Fourth wall. Pull up my fourth wall page. Error. Sign in. There it is. Bloop. My fourth wall page, which you can buy the Mod 10 print files from, and then there's a Gene Wants You poster at now too. If anybody wasn't familiar, this is a thing that is available. So Gene poster, it's available in 12 by 18, 20 by 30, or 24 by 36. I haven't gotten one of these yet. I got to order one. And there's also a sticker pack, which is a small 2-inch sticker of the same thing. So yeah, I printed up a bunch. I printed up postcards with these on it. The Gene Wants You. These postcards that I'm going to be taking to that show I was talking about. And on the back of it has the whole sponsor pitch for brands. That's what I'm taking with me. Is that a display output? Yes, there's an HDMI. So there's 2 USB ports. Looks like 2 USB 2.0s and an HDMI port, and then a RJ45 port. So we can get wired networking. Bring the desk up. So we can get wired networking. I like that. I'm really thinking the next studio, I'm going to lean a lot heavier on wired networking over Wi-Fi, just to ensure stability across all my machines, especially if I'm going to have more space and probably end up with some more machines in there. I am considering like taking on some print farming projects or something as another form of revenue. So, you know, so there's that. Oh, and is that a Wi-Fi antenna? Yeah, a Wi-Fi antenna up here. And then our cable for our filament runout sensor. Or is that just a stud? Nope, that's a Wi-Fi antenna. And fan, I believe that's the exhaust fan. Yes, that is the exhaust fan to exhaust out chamber air to keep the chamber cooler and filtered, I believe. Okay. But let's get the screen on here quick. Donald, welcome in, Donald. Hello. Welcome in. I got two connections. Are they labeled? Yes. EXP2 and EXP1. They are labeled. That's nice. I do not care for the screen. I will definitely want clipper screen, but it's better. It's at least it has a screen, you know? Something to be said for that, I guess. I would definitely prefer a clipper screen option, but it has that HDMI output, so between that and USB, we could run an HDMI display. So, are those connected? Looks like it. This is a little more difficult because I'm going around the side here. Critter 42, you went to 75% wired capable devices in prep for fiber coming in. Oh yeah, another Ubiquiti sponsored project, networking the farm. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably reach out to Ubiquiti because they've been like solid supporters and let them know, hey, I've got yet another studio to do. I doubt they'll be on board. I've also got plenty of equipment at the moment. Like my rack. My server rack has a 24 port switch in it, and I've been using what? I think I'm currently using 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I'm using 8 ports of a 24 port switch right now. And I'm also planning to probably run, I got a couple of Ubiquiti's Flex switches, which are their compact 5-port switch that runs off PoE power, so you don't need additional power to them. My plan is to, like the shelving units where I have printers on them, I can mount one of those flexes, then just run from that back to my switch. It's a PoE switch, so it'll power that switch, and then I can connect 4 printers to that. So like 2 of those to each server rack, to each printer rack, means only 2 cables back to the printer, to the server rack, and then everything's hardwired. So like I've got plans as to how that's going to happen. And those flex switches from Ubiquiti, they're like $29. So yeah, where I wanted to sidetrack here, not the sidetrack I just went on. Sim 2 connection on the side is for screen and SD card. I would assume you're probably right. There's probably a USB stick in here. There it is, USB stick in here. Yes, you're right. One good thing about the move, one excellent thing about the move, one thing I'm really excited about for the move is fiber. I'm going to get fiber internet back because those neighborhoods out there where we're moving are like newer. Fiber is already there. So I already looked while we were at the house I checked the address. I can get 2 gig fiber for $70 a month at that house. And I am pumped because I'm paying $110 a month right now for cable internet that's 1200 megabit down and 40 megabit up. And upload is so painfully slow. I am so looking forward to sequential gigabit. Fiber is life-changing for self-hosting. I'm looking forward to it for a couple of reasons. One of which is just the ease of uploading. Like uploading my YouTube videos on fiber is like that. It makes my life so much easier. But That sounds like an hour of waiting to upload a video. It is, Tom. So like right now, I'll finish a video and be like, oh, I want this to go live in like half an hour. I'll go to upload it and like, oh, right, it's going to take an hour to upload the video. All right, go get a cup of coffee, come back. If I remember right, it's municipal fiber too. Oh, the connection is through Fiberly or whatever. Ziply fiber or whatever. I don't know. I've looked, I've heard decent things. We're going to give it a try. It's probably municipal ran the fiber and then it's private companies run it, I'd assume. Don't know. I got 1 gigabit for about the same price. I was paying $100 a month back in Philadelphia for 1 gigabit. So whatever. I'm going to get 2 gigabit at the new house. I don't really need 2 gigabit at the new house, except for my thought is the studio, I'll have my server rack at the studio, and the studio will be all 2 gigabit and 10 gigabit internally. And then I'll get the same 2 gigabit connection at the studio. So then between the house and the studio, it won't be like a direct wired between the two of them, but I will have technically I will technically have 2 gigabit between the two. Obviously, real world, it won't work out to be like that. But it should allow me to do more remote working situation where I'm intending or hoping I can like set up my good computer at the studio. So when I'm working at the studio, I've got all the power I need. And then I can go home and like remote into my good computer from the house and still do some video edits or things. So not worth it for me to go higher. Yeah, I mean, it's only worth it for me because everything in my house is already 2.5 gig, Wi-Fi 7 or 10 gig. So Troy, welcome in. Hello. I think I can get Frontier out there too, but I don't know. 2 gigabit is $140 a month here, but Comcast Business was just $200 a month for just $210. Spread the coffee through Discord. Hope all is well. Thank you so much for the support. That is greatly appreciated. Steve's 3D, welcome in. That's the one thing I'm really not looking forward to is I'm betting that because the studio will be a commercial space, that I'm probably going to pay through the nose for the internet there when I'll have $70 a month fiber at the house. And then to get good speed at the studio, I'm really afraid of what that's going to end up costing. I don't have a studio yet, so I just don't know. We don't know. Don't know. Whoa, had 300 megabit, make Xfinity upgrade my bad modem and got 5 gig for free. Nice. For a free upgrade. Nice. 175 for Spectrum 1G40. Okay, so you're like where I'm at, but a little more expensive. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, pop this door open and get this foam out of here. Yeah, asynchronous. That's what I have now is asynchronous speeds, and I hate it. All right, how does this foam come out? Does it come through the top? Okay, foam comes out through the top. Kinda, sorta, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna hold on to this because as I said, I am gonna be boxing this back up. I am gonna be boxing this back up for the move. 5 gigabit down, 5 megabit up. Oh, yeah. Tiny Shell Script, welcome in. We got a little peel on a little camera. I mean, honestly, there is a lot. 2.5 up. I mean, what's all gonna happen to all the upgrades you made to the house? Most of them will stay. Plain and simple. Like, there's not much I can do about it. Honestly, I don't know if there's that much. Oh, well, no, that's not true. Okay, so the big fan that I put in the HVAC, one of the first projects I did in the new house, the 12-inch AC infinity fan, that's not staying. That's coming with me. That's going to make for an excellent dust collector in the new studio. I'm going to build like a... I keep saying all these things I'm going to do for a studio I don't have yet, and I don't even know if I can afford yet. Bear with me while I daydream. 12-inch fan, going to mount it to the ceiling, run 12-inch ducting from one end of the studio to the other with a big set of filters on one end for dust collection. So like while I'm cutting things or whatever in that space, I can have like proper dust collection so that everything doesn't get covered in dust every time I break a router out for 30 seconds. Because that's what happens in here right now, and it's so frustrating. Without a dream, what would you do? Exactly. Goals are good to have. Yeah. So anyway, no matter what, I'm taking that with. I just got to get a piece of 12-inch ducting to replace that section that I cut out. That's no big deal. The enclosure that's off screen right now, the whole thing I built around it, that's also going away. I'll take that down too. I'm sure they're not going to be happy about that. The AC unit that I put in here, I'm going to take that out. I didn't take the AC unit out of my last studio space just because we were moving across country. And it didn't make sense moving cross country. But have you considered running a 3D printing business out of your new studio? Yes, Steve. Steve's 3D. Part of my thought with the new studio is opening up my options business-wise. Like, I have never justified it. I've never wanted to run a studio. There's a lot of things I would never do with my business in a home studio that I'd be willing to in an open studio, in a public studio. Or, well, commercial space, dedicated, whatever the heck. So yes, that is definitely a thing on my mind. There are a lot more possibilities for what I could do. You do a good 3D printer repair services. I didn't think about that. That's not a terrible idea. I wouldn't really want to do like part sales or filament sales. Keeping inventory, it's a lot of overhead in that respect. And then West 3D is right around the corner. They're like 20 minutes from the new house. So like, I like those folks. I'm not going to try and take a chunk of their business. Now, repairs, maybe. Take it you're not going to TCT. Nope. Nah, unfortunately, I can't go to TCT. Planning on renting or buying going forward? Renting. Can't afford to buy. We are just not in a position to buy. Neither Ruby or I. Big scale print farm would be more commercial space thing, right? Yes. So that's something I'm looking at, is maybe a little more to the print farm side of things. West 3D tour on the horizon. Yeah, RJ, we might be able to make that happen at some point. Repairs and less industrial take a lot of time for a little money. Absolutely true. That's where I'm like, I don't know about repairs. It's doable, but like, you know, you bring me a $300 printer and I spend 3 hours fixing it. How do I charge you $300 for fixing it? Like, but that's time I could have been making money doing something else. So like, yeah. Error. But yes, the idea of like maybe having a small print farm and offering some 3D printing services and maybe 3D design services to the public and like local engineering businesses or something. Unless you do it on stream. I mean, honestly, Zyber Tech, I'm going to go with the way to pronounce that. That's not a terrible idea. I've considered doing like a video series of that in the past where like I like accept viewer printers for repair and just like rehab viewer printers. That's a video series I considered doing in the past on Mandic Really when I was more focused on like 3D printing tech. So that's not the terrible idea by any means. Yeah, so print fix Friday, but actually fixing them. Yeah, not just talking about how to fix them or like troubleshooting, you know, from pictures or whatever. Zero offense to Grant. I think that's a fun series. I enjoy it. But like a different take, you know. I've seen like I know I've seen some of the tech channels, YouTube tech channels, like they'll get a viewer computer in and repair and upgrade it, you know, stuff like that. Modify Gregor to take tap for pay at the tattoo studio. That's a cute idea. Oh, we're gonna be doing some type of like 3D printed art stuff at the studio. That's a fun idea. I'm gonna have to play with that. It wouldn't be that hard to get like some type of tap to pay module that I could like embed into the head of some print or something. Cute. I'm gonna bring that up to Ruby. She'll love that. Thank you, Troy. That's a really solid idea. Okay, this printer. So yes, I'm definitely considering options for. Oh, I like that it's not central as homing. There's an X homing switch, or there's a Y switch I see, and there's an X switch. Yay! The hour where we judge viewer printer setups. Yeah, that's where like a video probably makes more sense on that idea. of I'm going to adjust this camera angle. It made sense a minute ago. It doesn't right now. Of I don't want to like critique or help and troubleshoot, but not necessarily critique people. So that's a thing to figure out. But all right. Oh, so there's machined points I can see. Gonna be really hard to see. Not a serious suggestion. Yeah. So they machined little flat spots on the extrusions for the assembly of the Z-axis. That's neat. So that probably helps with assembly. That's going to be really hard for me to show you folks. But this extrusion looks like it's probably machined on both sides, so it can be used on either side. Great idea. You only have one component for both sides. And then it's machined so that the upright here, because this has a dual Z-axis. I'll just show you the one side. If anybody's not familiar, this uses 2 lead screws and 2 linear rails to support the bed. It's not just a single cantilever design like the V0. So I don't think it would take 3 hours to repair a printer. Depends on how screwed up it is. Digital file selling would be out of the tariff games. Yeah, that's true. You know, I've not had much luck with the whole digital file sales except for Mod 10. Mod 10 is the only success I've really had with that. And I do plan to expand the Mod 10. So my 3D printed server rack, totally expand. Yeah, don't just Uncle Jesse the door. Thank you. How wide does it open? 180 degree opening, like 182. I've just never had luck with the file sales. I do plan to expand the Mod 10 series with way more files and designs. I've got one more video planned from this studio, hopefully. And it will be a Mod 10 build for the new house. Because my server rack's not going to be going to the new house. It'll go wherever the studio ends up landing. So I plan to build a Mod 10 for myself for the new house. Take up less space and still network the house nicely. So, yeah. That one doesn't sound like glass. Oh, this is glass. The side panels are metal. It feels like aluminum sheet metal. And the front is glass. Excited for the LDO V0 2.2 kit. Impressed to see LDO being willing to match. Yeah, LDO. I really appreciate Jason being a rock star, helping out. He already sent me the matching amount and whatever that he only sold so many, and I I didn't expect him to do unlimited, so I appreciate the support. The Ubiquity Double Gang file for the camera might get some traction. I'll probably just put that out for free. I should put that on my printables and my thanks page, but yeah. By the way, where can or should I go for the requesting 3D file be made for something I want, as I'm trash at CAD and willing to pay? Gigantic, email me, or Discord. Email is better, alan@mandicreally.com. That's probably the better place to reach me. So, the DMs on any other platform, I have trouble keeping track of. I was winner of Box Turtle. Sick. I got that was one of our next projects. So next studio, we'll get to it. Building the Box Turtle and the whole new 2.4 to go with it. Okay. Let's take some panels off and take a look inside of this thing before we plug it in and fire it up. I think that's going to make sense. I think I'm going to start with the back panel. Let's start with taking the back panel off. Grab the LTT precision screwdriver. And we'll pop this back panel off. I want to see what's back here. It's interesting how much they mimicked the design philosophy of the V0 in that Did they offer you an LTT precision blowtorch? No, I have not been offered that. The ceramic bearing makes the fidget so fun to buy. Yeah. Still spinning, and stopped. Yeah, and I do that a lot. I absolutely play with this all the time. Oh, not you specifically, just in the LTT store. I know. I adore that they sent me my own color. I do adore that they sent me my own color. It also, like, very small says Mandic Really right there. But yeah. Oh, I'm sure eventually they'll probably have, like, I know they have black and orange. I'm sure eventually they'll probably offer color options. But I appreciate that I had no idea. Like, they told me they were going to send me one, but they didn't tell me they were customizing it for me. So, not mad about it. Not mad about it. They looked at my brand and said purple. And I do love me some purple. Is it as heavy as they say? Yeah, this thing's shockingly heavy for how big it is, for what it is. Yes. I don't know what the exact weight is, but it is shockingly heavy. What's the box say? 40 pounds. The box says 40 pounds. That seems like probably close to accurate. I would say maybe 35 or so with plus packaging. And one more. Wonder if they would sell it as a kit. I really don't think so. I don't see that. If those are full aluminum panels. I mean, they're fairly thin aluminum panels. They're like maybe 2 mil thick aluminum. Maybe. 1.5 mil. 1.2 mil. Yeah, 1.2 mil aluminum. So. All right. Let's take a look inside of here. Going up. We've got the auxiliary part cooling fan, which draws air in from outside of a chamber. Don't love that. But it's a curtain cooling fan that'll blow across the entire bed. Looks like a 7530. I've got a 7530 right here. Yep, 7530. Which platform you get the most from donations? Less or no fee? Coffee. Zyrus, the place I get the most of the donation is coffee. So it's in the link in the description, Ko-Fi, KO-FI. That's where the most of it goes to me. Exposed high voltage. It is kind of, yes, exposed high voltage. I thought they're magnetic, so therefore they're steel. Maybe they're steel. I was just guessing. I know they're sheet metal, but I guess now that you say that, this is awfully heavy for what it is. Yep, it is magnetic. You're right. It's steel. LTT screwdriver is like ever so slightly sticking to it. So you're right. It's steel. Yep. So yes. Yeah, kind of exposed power. Looks like that's the SSR for the bed, actually. So this is the bed SSR. And these companies keep using these like SSR PCBs that make me raise my eyebrow. I don't know. Hopefully that's good. Haven't heard of Sovol having cheaties problems, so I assume it would be. Our main board here, STM32 on the MCU, and then an H616 on our board. We've got a 4020 fan. I have hope that that's not going to be super loud blowing across our board. That's nice. 4020 fan cooling our board. That's nice to see. eMMC storage. So we've got onboard eMMC storage. Board is made by MakerBase, totally, yep. It has the MakerBase design philosophy look to me. I don't see any actual branding on it. It's the H616JC3Z5160. Oh yeah, I was told, yes, mains bed it looks like. Does appear to be a mains bed. Yep. main voltage bed. I was informed that the XY stepper drivers are 5160s for some reason. Why? I don't know, but they are 5160s. So, neat. I guess you could slap a 48 volt or a 56 volt power supply on here and overpower them. I don't know how you would select voltage for the... Oh, wait, is there an extra... So there's power input here, and there's a secondary power input or output that's not being used. I wonder if that's like motor input. If you couldn't change a jumper, it kind of looks like it. Oh, yep, there is. Okay, so I'm looking here. Sorry, there's like no way I could get close to this. HV or no? I don't know. Good point, because regular 5160s wouldn't be. There is a 48 volt jumper though. 48, right, 5160, regular 5160s don't mean 48 volt capable. It's 5160 HV or Pro or T, is it? Well, whatever. You're right. It's not automatically the case, but there is a jumper next to the secondary power port. So let me get a little bit closer. You're still not going to see a lot with this, but let's get this a little closer. Sorry for bouncing the camera. Bloop. That's the wrong wheel. Okay. Sorry, make everybody seasick. Okay, so that is a secondary power header. Now it's not clearly labeled, but what I can say is directly next to it, these are two jumpers, and these two jumpers are currently in 24 volt position, but they're clearly silk screened on the board 48 volt position. So they're giving you the option to set this up for 48 volt. I don't know. But so it looks like, and this is pure speculation, I don't have a spec sheet in front of me to say this for sure, but it looks like you could 48 volt into this side, swap these two jumpers over to the 48 volt side, and get 48 volts to your XY steppers. But would that be the bed? That's the question. It could be a bed. It could be a bed connector. But what I do know is directly next to it, like literally, here it is, and here are two jumpers that say clearly on the board 24 volt or 48 volt. And this here, this terminal block here is not going to the SSR. It looks like it is, I see that, but it ducks down into the bottom where the power supply is. So that's actually the power feed to the board. So it really, you know what? I'm forgetting. Let's take a quick look. They actually already open sourced this thing. Sovol GitHub. I don't think they open sourced everything about it, of course, because what company actually does what they should? But they have, they messaged me and let me know that they open source this. Yeah, the SSR shouldn't need a full dedicated like MOSFET signal. PDF. Ah, can anybody read that and let me know what any of that says? Oh, I don't know. These are all PDFs. What are any of these? Oh, wow. They've got technical drawings for like every component. Okay. PT1000. Does it use a PT1000 thermistor? Uses a PT1000 thermistor. Fire up the phone. Yeah. Google Translate. Pull up the Google app. Translate. Camera. Real-time translation. Micro switch. Profile. China test letter. I'm looking for main board here. Sorry, you can't see my phone. Nah, I don't see the... Oh, what's that? Yeah, I don't see the... Oh, wait, machine processing. Maybe that. One of them said machine processing. This one. What's this? Doesn't look like it. Nozzle. Looks like this is probably just like a dump of like various things. All right, whatever. Sovol Zero. Does it say anywhere on here 48 volt? Nope. 5160? Nope. There was an entry on the previous page that said mainboard. Where? I didn't see it on this page, but there's firmware. Yeah. Step files for a full build, so you can modify the thing. Oh, right. If you right click on Chrome, you can translate. You're right. On here? I don't see it in the repositories. Yeah. Boop. No, yeah, I'm sorry, Steve. I was referring to what Kit was saying. Translate to English. There we go. Detecting. Thank you, Steve. That was dumb. I could have done that the whole time. Wiring harness. Damping hinge. Nameplate. So no mainboard. Motor shock pad? Does this have dampers? Not really. No. I don't know what that's referring to. None of those are jumping out. And this, what the heck is this? Pressure sensor. Oh, so it's that's its nozzle probing sensor. Yeah, well. Okay. So we are maybe able to run this thing at 48 volts. Don't know. Maybe I'll just throw 48 volts at it at some point just to see what happens. I'm sure somebody will get to it before I have a chance to get to it. Does the printer config have a breakdown about it? Wiring. Mainboard power cable? Yeah, so that cable I was referring to is the mainboard power. Okay, well, we're getting too lost in the sauce here, but question? Does Sovol mean question? It translated Sovol to mean question for some reason. No, whatever. We'll look at the config when we get this thing fired up shortly. Path to the printer config. Yeah, we'll look at the config when we get it fired up. So anyway, potentially, maybe, possibly, you can run this thing on 48 volt. Will it make any difference to this thing? I have no idea, but maybe you can. All right, let's flip it up and take a look. Oh, there's a chamber thermistor. Cool. Yeah, sure enough, there's a chamber thermistor right here. Looking through, right there. It's got a little flange on it. It's poking through the front of the panel. So, all right, I'm gonna pop this thing on its side and get to the underside for the power supply. Oh, let's get to the underside for the power supply. It's like a little kind of almost handle points here. Nuno, stepper XY set to 3.5 volt. You mean 3.5 amp? Still sounds like a lot of amps, but do you mean 3.5 amp? Could have tried a little harder on the name. I mean, they freely admit that this is a clone or a take on the Sovol Zero. The box even says it's inspired by the 0.2. How damping do you think the feet are? Quite a bit. These things are pretty soft, actually. That said, it's like 2.5 millimeters from the bottom of here till the screw. So like, Noxitech, hello, hello. But they seem to be pretty decent rubbery feet. Come on. Come on. I don't feel like picking it up to get the screw a little easier with the screwdriver. All right, bottom panel. The feet are in the way. All right, I figured that. I expected that. All right. So we are running a single stepper drive, a single stepper. I thought I saw only one on the board. We got a single Z-axis stepper driving a spring-loaded belt-tensioned Z-axis. So 2 lead screws. So we're not going to get Z tilt adjust out of this. It's got a, what brand is that? Is that Mornson? I can't read the logo. I have no idea what brand that is. But it's got a 150 watt power supply, 24 volt in it currently. And that's pretty much it. It feels like this bottom plate might be cast aluminum or machined aluminum. I mean, plate aluminum in some respect. It's sandblasted on the bottom. So that's a decent idea. It's giving the base a little more weight, a little more mass, but also rigidity for the Z-axis. So you got your 2 lead screws mounted there. I can see at least a couple of things screwed into it. You got your motor mounted here, so it's going to be heat sinked by that. Huh. All right, so it's got aluminum base plate. Is it a better Sovol Zero or just more convenient since it's pre-built? I'd say more convenient. I don't know if better is a fair assessment. Pre-built. A pre-built Zero. And nothing is jumping out at me as like inherently flawed so far. I can see people being unhappy with some exposed, like, you know, I can touch these terminals right here for the power supply. But in the same regard, like, I have to take a whole panel off the bottom of the machine to get to that. So there's plenty of machines. You only have to remove one panel. Like, I don't mean 3D printers, but I mean home electronics. You only have to remove one panel to get to exposed 110 volt, 220 volt, depending where you live. That's a question. I assume it's a 110 volt power supply. Looks like it's an auto switching. There's no switch. Yeah, there's no switch on it, so it must be an auto switching unit. You can never say anything is better than a Voron because a Voron is what you make it. That's pretty much where I was at there, Jake. Yes. So a Voron is what you make of a Voron, and that's both the power and the fun of it. It is what you make of it, you know? Like, it's your Voron, and if it's not a great Voron, you make it a better Voron. Like, that's just reality. All right, get this back on here. Can we get this thing fired up? Boom. Yeah. But so far, nothing is jumping out at me at things that I'm like, I don't like. Especially for like, you know, this thing's cheaper than it's around the same price as a Sovol 0.2 kit. And while that's not the point, like, I don't know. That's part of the thing. Like, if you just want to buy a printer, then yeah, like, just buy a printer. I don't want to just buy a printer. I want to build a printer. I love building printers. It's quite a bit of the fun of all this for me, but that's not for everybody. It's just how it is. Like, it's not for everybody, and that's okay. Support this up so I can get these bottom screws in easier. This camera's a little blown out right now, but that camera has terrible dynamic range, so it is what it is. I like building printers and more than using them. I don't disagree with you. I think I sometimes I am there with you, but I like just building them as much, if not more, than using them. So I don't disagree with you. And that's like some of the fun of this hobby. Like I know Dan at West 3D has said that. They sell the main board for the Zero by itself. Okay. Okay. Looks like it uses the same HDMI clipper screen as the Zero 8. Okay. That's nice to know. Do they have a mount for it already? Because it looks like it's awfully low, like awfully short in the skirt area to fit that screen. All right, let's put the back panel on. I'm gonna take a quick picture of this and post it on Discord. So if folks want to take a look at it more, it'll be on Discord. Later. I'll do it off stream later, but main board. I'm gonna get those jumpers with the 48 volt, 24 volt selection thing. Okay. I didn't put my Z belts in backwards on my 2.4 and not notice till it was in the machine. No. There's some dust inside of here like this has already been run. Probably test running, but still interesting. Looks like it comes with some kind of mount or at least angled. Okay. Okay. I have a laser and CNC. I built that. I've never used to make anything. I mean, I have yet to use the Milo. I've had a lot of fun building the Milo, but I've yet to use it. We will remedy that in the new studio. I'm 100% certain of that. But as of yet, I haven't made anything with the Milo, but I still had a lot of fun building it. The dust is the anthrax. No need to worry. Cool. Put me out of my misery. That's it. Sovol sent this machine just to get to me. They actually launched this product specifically knowing that I like small printers and I would accept the machine purely to get to me. Or maybe to get to Gene. Is that the ultimate goal? Spare power on the bed is for the heat bed wire. Okay. How deep does it go? So you must have to put 48 volt into the port. So it's just interesting. Where'd you find that info, Dan's 3D Pre? Curiosity. Do they have? I saw somebody else said they have this board, but your name is on the list. Jean's on the most wanted list. I mean, she does have goals of world domination, and she can only be stopped so much. Right now, she's stopped by a nap. She's napping in a bed underneath the bench, so she's just saving energy for the assault. And time to strap a flex bolt on the back of it. One more screw. So many screws. MCU pin definition PDF. Ooh, I missed that. I'm missing this. I just searched that. Granted, that doesn't shock me that search would suck, but I just searched that and didn't find it. Whatever. MCU main control unit. No, motor control unit. Motor control. I mean, kind of. No, sorry, microcontroller unit. Microcontroller unit. Because it does more than just control motors. Microcontroller unit also controls, you know, in our case, because MCUs aren't just these boards, it's just a term for them, but they also handle sensor input and outputs, also handles, I gathered you were asking. Wait. Josh, we should strap a flex power to it, right? This isn't weird. It's a backpack. We'll just backpack it. This is totally safe and secure, right? Send it. Yeah. Why not? Have wires just hanging out of it like the DeLorean. Like it was meant to be. All right. Cool. Got a bolt. Catch you later. All right, Troy. Thank you. 24 volt AC. Oh, okay. Now we're getting weird. Flex power backpack with a nothing a zip tie couldn't fix. There we go. Now we're really thinking. There's a Wi-Fi antenna and our filament runout sensor. 24 volt AC is HVAC standard. You're right, it is. A lot of thermostats run on 24 volt AC. That's a good point. So I'll just jack into the heater. It's right over there. Perfect. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Thoughts on Box Turtle? Looks interesting. I haven't had a chance to build it yet, so I don't know. Doorbells too, no. Doorbells have varying voltages, but 24 volt is among them. 24 volt AC. Like mine, I have an 18 volt step down on, I'm fairly sure, 20 volt maybe. Something around there. It's not 24 volt, but it's somewhere close to there. All right, spool holder. So we are spool holder, filament runout sensor, and Bowden tube away. I know some do run different ones, but I only know because I got 24 volt contactors from LDO for testing and it ran 24 volt DC. Oh no. Oh no. Hey, it actually came with a hardened nozzle. Huh. Came with a spare brass nozzle and a spare hardened nozzle. All right. It also came with a sleeve to put on the filament runout sensor. Screw. Now, spool holder goes on the back. There's one negative, is that it, you screwing in or not? The screw doesn't want to start. One negative, it, why are you not starting? Oh, I got the wrong size hex head. Duh. There we go. Spool holder on the back. I wish the spool holder was on the side. Just because with power inlet and everything else being, well, granted, if it was on the side, it'd be blocking these ports. It needs like a front spool holder. I think here is probably the optimal place for spool holder for me. That way, it's easily accessible and you can have it up, backed up against the wall. Yeah, I've done that too many times. Done that a couple times as of late where I'm like, why is this not spinning in? Oh, because I was using the wrong size hex and it's literally just the hex spinning inside of the hex. Whoops. 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 Okay, spool holders on. But like, it looks like I could probably use a hammerhead or two and mount a spool holder up here. So, like, options exist, it appears. All right. Now, that filament runout sensor, where does the inlet for the Bowden go? Does it go here? I should probably look at the instructions at some point, but like, why? Where the heck does this mount? Not there. All right, I guess I gotta look at the instructions. I just gotta look at the instructions. How dare they? How dare they? What hot end is it using? Don't know. We'll pop the cover off. I assume the same as like the SV08 would be my guess, but I don't know for sure. Below the antenna. So I have to take a screw out? I see like the pass-through hole. Oh, okay. So I see why I was confused. So there's a hex missing here that's just not there, but I'm supposed to go here with the runout sensor. So one of my hex is just missing. Okay. Runout sensor is supposed to go here. Weird. Oh, okay. Now this cover makes sense. I was like, why does it have these here? It didn't make any sense to me. Because I'm like, that's not like very Sovol Zero in design. Now I see why. Because the idlers are visible. So it's how they're enclosing these corners. Interesting. Okay. So this goes through this into the frame. That's the wrong size hex again. It's not long enough. The screw's not long enough. I must be using the wrong screw or something. I'm either using the wrong screw or I'm trying to put it in the wrong place. The instructions show it here. They absolutely show it here. But they call for M3 by 16 screw. This looks like M3 by 16. Yeah, it's M3 by 16. Let me try again. They're there to sand the shafts of the extruder gears if they don't fit correctly? What are there? I don't understand. Try one more time before I look at putting it somewhere else, I guess, because this doesn't seem right. Oh, potentially? Oh, I see why. Okay. Okay, so I see what happened now. I had the washer on the top, not underneath the sensor. The washer is supposed to be under the sensor, and the washer sat up a little bit and kept the screw just a little bit further out. Here's a weird question. What's your minimum acceptable print volume to machine volume ratio? I have no idea. I like V0s. I don't know. Honestly, the VZ bot's a bit big for how big of a build volume it is, I think. But there's a lot going on with that machine. So ever since I got the Core 1, I look at the Mark IV in the enclosure, and that's such a waste of space in comparison. So that's definitely a thing. As long as we don't go full Lulzbot, I think we're good. I've got a full Lulzbot in a box. Have I ever mentioned that? At some point, we need to build that. I've got a Lulzbot Taz 5, an original 2.85 millimeter extruder, whole 9 yards machine, new old stock in a box that I've never built. We need to do that someday. I've fallen in love with printers for ants. I want to fall in love with printers for ants, but yeah. OG or after they were bought out? I believe OG. I believe OG because it's TAS 5. I think they weren't bought out till TAS 6 era. He definitely talked about it. Yeah, it's been a long time. So excited my Core 1 kit's coming. Cool. Yeah, I'm sure I've talked about it in the past. So, who owns Lulzbot? I mean, it's still Lulzbot. It's privately owned, but it's just the company got bought by somebody else is all. So, still the same company, still privately owned. It's not like Ultimaker or somebody like that bought them. So, okay. What else here? How's the Bowden tube go? Okay, this Bowden tube just goes through the side entry point. There's a side entrance here. Hook it into here. Hook it through here and connect it into the tool head. Jose, 12:45 in Spain tomorrow. Got to work, but I'll spend some time with you. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us, Jose. It's appreciated. All right, it is appreciated. Welcome in. All right, hook up the filament runout sensor. And I think we're pretty good. Double check I'm not missing anything. Top panel glass on. We're ready to fire it up. Cool. Top glass on and we're ready to fire up. Top glass sits on, then these like rotate into position to hold it down sort of, but they're super loose. Well, they hold it tight. The glass is held down pretty tight, so. All right. All right. Time to get some power in this thing. Good morning and happy Monday. I got drunk in front of my boss this weekend. Now I'm embarrassed to show up to work. Oh boy, Thomas, good luck with that. Good luck with that, Thomas. All right, power in. Time to power on. Flipping the switch. Let's see if any magic smoke gets let out. Why is this so... Oh, you know what? I just realized this is so zoomed in. Fit to screen. Does that mean we have a much larger view of everything than we have? I've been zoomed in this entire stream. Okay. All right. One of the things I want to do with the next studio is move to 4K streaming. Powering on. I hear an always on fan and I hate it. It must be the 40 volt or 40 millimeter fan in the back blowing on the main board. I can feel a little bit of air moving back there, but whatever. I hate it. I don't like the way that sounds. Oh, it stopped. It just had to get in the clipper so it could actually shut down the fan. Okay, cool. Zoomed in to show us electronics, yeah. Okay. All right. What do I do? I'm gonna have to use the USB stick probably to set the Wi-Fi, I assume. So let me do that real quick. USB stick into that. USB drive, Wi-Fi, there it is. Yep, sure enough, there's a Wi-Fi file on there. I just got to put in my SSID. And remember what my SSID is? I forget. No, I remember. It's been so long since I logged into my Wi-Fi, I guess. All right, save that. Great, now I can eject that. I'm gonna power the machine off so I can put the USB stick in. And it'll want to fresh boot with this in place. Yeah, sorry I did that off screen because it's, you know, Wi-Fi password and all that. But basically on the USB stick, this is not normal. This is how they do it here. It's not far off from the way it's done on like a regular Raspberry Pi, but it's not quite as easy. You have to find the file on a Raspberry Pi. There's a file right on this called wi-fi.cfg. You open it, all it has in it is two fields. One is your SSID, so you have the name of your network, and the other one is password. That's it. Anyone have experience with Tronxy VHO printers? Nope. Anybody want to chime in? I've only ever heard terrible things. All right, we're powered back up. Fans on, so Clipper hasn't booted yet. What's the MSRP on this? Thomas, it is $429. There is a link in the description to it. There's a link in the description, $429. They were $399 for the first small batch, but I think they blew through those already, so yeah. Don't you put the SSID and Wi-Fi on a Raspberry Pi when flashing the OS to the SD card? Yes, but you can actually forget to do that for one. And two, if you need to change it, you have to go in, you have to find the WPA supplicant file, open that, find the fields, edit it. Like, yes, Dark Third Dimension, the Raspberry Pi Imager makes that easier now, but that wasn't always a thing that worked. So, and if you need to change it down the road, that's not how you do it. So. Multiply by 1.3 for local price. Yeah, sorry. Gotta love the that factor. Let me check IP. That's not normal. I'm gonna jump onto my Unify OS and see if I can find this. If it doesn't connect, you might have to put the USB in after boot. Fair. I'm used to like a Pi where it needs to be in during boot, but you might be right. I'm just looking now to see if it popped up on my network anywhere. ESP32, nope. 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 Nope, didn't. So I'm gonna pop that out, pop it back in. Pretty sure you powered on, then put the USB in before it fully boots. All right. I'm gonna check what the instructions say. I'm sure they say. Startup. Enter and save your Wi-Fi information. Power on the machine, then plug in the USB port. Once inserted, pause 15 to 20 seconds before continuing. I think both Nero and Modbot had this issue. Love it. One thing I like to do is make DHCP reservation for machines like that. I usually just set static IPs after they initially connect. But Jose, I said earlier, the next studio, I think I'm going to hardwire like most of my machines. So I think I'm going to hardwire most of my machines. If I hit the menu, the only thing it does is show IP. I'm going to power cycle it and do that again. Okay, powering on. It's turned on. I'm going to plug it in. Nothing beats copper except glass. A wire is always better. I'd rather have 100 megabit wire than 400 megabit Wi-Fi. I don't disagree. No latency issues of Wi-Fi. No clog. And I'm just mostly worried about clogging up my Wi-Fi, you know? That's my concern. Too many Wi-Fi devices. Especially if I expand things in the new studio. All right, let's boot it up. Show IP. Did that work? Didn't work. Joy, didn't work. Well, we can go through calibration. I can always load up on the USB stick to load a file. Yeah, diagnosing bad Ethernet cables is a pain, and it is a pain that I understand, for sure. Boot it up completely, then insert the SD. We did that too, and that didn't seem to make any difference. You can SSH into it. I can't SSH into it if it's not connected to the Wi-Fi. I can hardwire it, but I have to drag out a cable. I should definitely have like a cable handy at the workbench. I can just plug things in. I did in the last studio. I don't here. Definitely something for the next thing. There is an HDMI port, yes. But I don't have any HDMI screens to plug into it. Maybe if I do a reset, it's got a reset button. Robot Overlord, welcome in. It just keeps showing the default, like, non-DHCP assigned. I'm gonna hit the reset button. System booting. I'm gonna unplug the USB stick. Try the other USB port. That's a solid point. I was only trying one USB port. That's a good point. Shouldn't matter, but here we are. Especially maker-based boards. Maker-based boards can be picky about USB ports. You need a cable reel. I'm actually thinking about that. I'm thinking the next studio about having a couple of cable reels with like HDMI cables in them, and like maybe like make my own reels. I think that could be a fun project. Like build a 3D printed retractable reel with an HDMI and power connection in it for my cameras. So I could like have a couple of reels mounted on the ceiling, and I could drag out a cable to hook up for a live stream or whatever in numerous positions and not have cables dragged across the floor for live streams. All right, system booting. It's taking forever to boot this time. I'm gonna power cycle it. Hitting the reset button took forever. For real. Yes, Andrew, for real. I'll make a reel about my reels. Ah. Yeah, the reset button seems like it didn't do a proper full reset. Like it got stuck. Anytime now. Really? Ha 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 ha. All right, it's booted. Putting in the USB stick. USB stick is in. Let's double check these instructions. Press the knob to select show IP. Wait 5 to 10 seconds. The IP address of your home network appear. If this one appears, we need to check the Wi-Fi account and password in USB drive's file or the USB stick. So basically, it's telling me exactly what I thought it's telling me, that it's not working. Wait 30. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait a little. Is what it is. I just made a new Wi-Fi.cfg in Notepad. Maybe if this doesn't work, I'll pop the USB stick back in and check that I didn't like, maybe I put a bad space in there or something so it can't read it. I don't know. Or it's just not connecting to my network because I fat fingered something maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. Not seeing any new devices. Notepad or Notepad++. I actually use VS Code personally. I know Notepad++ is fine, but I have VS Code on in anyway. I had to change my 2.4 gigahertz network security. I have a dedicated 2.4 network, so I just forget what it's called. Let me check. Really? Okay, I do want to know what it is. So we'll try the 2.4 dedicated network next, if this isn't working. It's been at least 30 seconds. Nope. Okay, let's check the USB stick. All right. Check the USB stick. Okay, for anybody who's not familiar, I'll just quick screen share. Like, this is it. Can I view, enlarge this? How do I enlarge? Zoom in. I thought it was Control Plus. Control Plus equal? Oh, I'm pushing the wrong Control Plus. Okay, so like, this is it. This is the entire Wi-Fi config setup. I'm using VS Code for this, but you can use Notepad++, whatever. So yeah, really smart. I'll just, like you folks, whatever. We're moving in a month. I'm not too worried about sharing my my smart home 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi with you. I'm not going to share the password, but I will share the SSID. So maybe pause after equal? You mean like a space after the equal? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's possible, I guess, but I don't think so. Entering the mainframe. Okay, I'm gonna save this file. No, file. Save. Quotes. I don't think it's quotes. If it was quotes, it should have quotes already. Why'd you do that? Save. Why are you asking me to save to a random place? This is weird. Yeah, I want to overwrite the existing file. Like it would have been that hard to guess which one's yours. I mean, you're not wrong. If you found the house, it'd be pretty quick and easy to figure out which network is mine. Wait, did it just overwrite? I think it just overwrote. What the? When I saved it, it saved blank. Why? Save. Replace. Okay. Now I'm going to open it real quick and just double check that that was proper. Austin, Zombie Hedgehog, welcome in. Sorry, we're having trouble getting this thing connecting to my Wi-Fi for some reason. Just want to check it. I'm opening it in Notepad just to check. It's fine. Cool. Eject. Let's eject this thing. Would have been less time to grab a cat cable. You are not wrong. You are not wrong, but as much as anything, I'm frustrated and annoyed and want to figure out why this isn't working. And I feel like that goes toward the reality of the machine, you know? This is a problem I'm having. I plugged it in before powering on. I'll plug it in a second, actually. It says to power on, then plug in. All right, plugging in. Power on the machine, enter the system, then plug in the USB. Okay, so that's telling me we need to wait till we're booted. Enter the system, then plug in. You got to enter the mainframe, then you plug it in. Something like that. All right, we are booted. USB. Plugged in, nothing happening on the screen to indicate what it's doing, if anything. And leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't go stealing Gene's cables. Yeah. Okay, if that didn't work, like, seriously, the cables were right there. It's not like it would have been difficult for me to grab a cable, but... Hey, I got an IP address now. Cable can go away. Got an IP address. Why are you on a .2? Whatever. 192. Don't know why, don't care. Boom, look at that. Look at that. It's even mainsail. Love to hear it, love to see it. Needed 2.4 network. It must, maybe, I don't know. See, all you had to do is grab the cable. RJ, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay, now. All right, that's all good. Press the knob again to enter auto calibration. Calibration. Put the build sheet on. Homing. Just had to threaten it with the cable. That's it. Boy, that chamber light doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. It's got a single chamber light that's like yay big right over here. All right, it's doing a hot end heat up, heating up the bed. So I assume it's going to do some testing, probe testing. Heating, heating, heating. I know one of the H616 boards, I had to have a separate module for 5 gigahertz. Okay, that's good to know. All right, all right, all right. I think maybe it's doing accelerometer testing. I hear it vibrating. No, that was too quick. Oh, now it is. Only list 2.4 support. Cool, good to know. Thank you. That was a very quick accelerometer test. Love to try one of these smaller printers. I am a fan of small printers personally. All right, it did a save config, so it's rebooting. Did a save config, we're rebooting. The sticker in the bottom with specs on it is peeling off the bottom. I'm just noticing. All right, I think we're about ready to throw some filament in and run a print, finally. What do I got? No, Gene Bean, not you. I know I have you. That's you. We don't know. Let's go with purple. Just finished your Sovol Zero video. Awesome. All right, let's load up some filament. Feeding through the Bowden tube. All right, I'm gonna go into the menu, prepare, preheat PLA. Prepare, is that where load is? No. Back, control. Where do I load filament? Print? Where's the load filament command? Weird. I thought I saw a load filament command. Yeah. Weird. The picture on the instructions shows a menu option for filament, but I don't seem like I have. Oh, I had to go scroll down much further. Duh. All right, heating up to load filament now. Heating up to load filament now. What's everybody's Sunday like? It's rainy here, but what's shocking about that? Actually, it was almost 80 degrees and sunny yesterday, so I guess could someone say
Weather
that?
for where?
No, not. I wasn't asking you. $80 and overcast. 80 and overcast in the Carolinas. Yeah. I know my dad said it was awfully dry there right now, so. I found out I have an extra 70 plates of prints to go through for my 3D sets build. Good luck with that zombie hedgehog. So much printing. So much printing. It's so tiny, so little. I want it. Reach out to Sovol. Ben, the Sovol Zero. Welcome in, Ben. It's boy in space. 88 degrees here. This is supposed to cool down starting Tuesday. Did get a little rain a couple days ago. Cool. I'm too scared to contact brands. I'll just buy it. I mean, fair. There's an affiliate link in the description. Also pollen season. Yeah, I think the allergies are still, like, I'm still not better from when I was sick a couple weeks ago. And I think at least part of that is like allergies kicking my butt. It's got to be at least somewhat allergies. So still. Build yourself a dueling dragon. There you go. You speed up your prints. At least the ones you need to do twice. Dueling Zero. I thought you meant the Tridex or Trident. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. I think we are through calibration. We are loaded filament. It's time to throw a benchy down on this thing. Because of course that's what time it is. Print benchy. AKA the only G code on there right now. Got mainsail up here. All right, I'm gonna adjust that camera real quick to get a closer view. My Sunday was spent trying to find the correct body for a Orbiter 2 internals with a 1.5 shell. Is that a thing you can do? I was not aware that's a thing you can do. And I think it just nozzle wiped. Now it's cooling off. They don't mix. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think they did. I wish company would stop defaulting to spool in the back. Me too. I was going to build a wristwatch G2, got the wrong kit. Dang, sorry to hear that. I'm amazed that nobody's really cropped up like a wristwatch G2 with Orbiter internals. I'm kind of amazed that hasn't really been a thing. I guess it's cooling down to probe, but I thought it has an eddy probe, doesn't it? I thought it has an eddy probe. All right, looks like it's doing Z offset calibration right now. Alan, would you say 180 build volume is better than 120 for desktop printer? I think 180 is pretty much the perfect build volume, personally. Yeah. Like, I really like 120s. I do. We'll pull up my Sovol Zero here in a minute. Maybe I can make some space on the table. Yeah, right. I love my 120s, but I think 180 is probably the sweet spot. Small printer. All right, it's heating up. Why are you heating up to 255? Well, that's quick. That's a quick first layer. How fast is it printing? Where's speed? Oh, there. Requested 1200. I saw requested 1200 for a second. I thought I saw 600 actual movement. We're 10% through a benchy already. I didn't hear anybody say that the benchy file that comes on this is this absurd. Sounds kind of loud on stream. Is it actually? Yes, it's kind of loud. I mean, the machine's loud. I mean, the fan noise is also loud. Like, you're also hearing a lot of fan noise from the part cool, the auxiliary fan that blows across the bed. You can see the slot for it back there at the back, right above the bed height. Looks like a boat. Yes, it does. It is a benchy-shaped object for sure. I don't think our print quality is going to be particularly the most amazing. They even printed a brim. They printed a brim on it. I'm shocked by that. Did you mention what extruder hot end? No, I didn't open it up to look yet. Yeah, it's a back to front blower. And it draws cool air in from outside, so you won't want to use that that auxiliary fan on ABS or ASA, unfortunately. Need to see if the hot end on that can be fit to an SB. It's cheap enough. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's done it already. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I saw over 600 at more than one point. I've seen over 600 real world speed. They must be pushing some serious acceleration on this. I wonder if I can see... What acceleration? 40,000. Running 40,000 acceleration. So not as high as I would have expected, honestly, for how quick it's moving. I wonder what the bed mesh looked like. Oh, I can't see it for some reason. 445 left estimate. So we're already 6 minutes in. No, we can't be. I have to look back at timestamps of this to know. I didn't start a stopwatch. I didn't expect it to be this damn fast. 8 minutes 40 seconds, what they call it on the file, at 0.25 millimeter layer height, and nothing's jumped out at me as like a trick of not following the speedboat rules. It looks like it's probably a speedboat rule following Benchy. This is kind of wild. I think this is the fastest Benchy I've ever seen come on a USB stick or SD card. Maybe it's because of the size of the tool head compared to the build volume that V0s fly. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Four minutes, 45 seconds. Okay. It's 72% right now. Off I go. All right, Fuzzy Tomato Head, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Zoom in more? I really can't. That's as far as the lens zooms in. All I can do is digitally zoom. So sorry you lose a little clarity there. We'll definitely take a close-up look at the Benchy once it's done. I can tell you just from like looking at it, it's definitely not the cleanest benchy by any means, but not as bad as I would have expected, honestly. Kind of looks like a kid that had too much caffeine. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely not the worst benchy by any means. $87%. More benchy than wrong one. More benchy than benchy shaped object. Yeah, you're not wrong. The early on, I thought it looked more like benchy shaped object, but it is looking a little better toward the end. Whoo! The corners are rounded off on the boat housing, like the yeah. What motors or drivers are they using? So it's running 5160 drivers. We're not sure exactly which ones, but it is using 5160 drivers. And I didn't take any note of the motors. So definitely not LDO motors. They're, silver black housing motors. So you're fairly generic ones, it seems like. And we're on to the last little bit. How fast are we going here? 68 millimeters a second, down to 38 for a blip there. Not bad, not bad. All right. That was something. Transform. Fit the screen. Okay. I'm going to pop that off the build plate and get it closer to the camera so you folks can see how it looks. Dr. Seuss smokestack? I mean, no. It's weird. The smokestack, I'm going to show you if I can. Let's see if I can show you. There is some weirdness with the smokestack, but I don't know how to explain it. Can you check the config and see what amps they're running? Yes. Check that. Let's check that now. I'm going to let that cool down a second before we pop it off. 8 minutes, 32 seconds according to RJ, checking timestamps. So, impressive. All right, let's take a look in the config. Printer.cfg. What the heck is this? Why is it all on the side? Huh, whatever. Both interesting. So the MCU is run off CAN bus, even though it's a dedicated onboard, like one board. So it's running CAN bus host control. Interesting. Eddy current probe. This does have an eddy current sensor for the bed probing. Bed mesh. Stepper XY. Stepper 3.5 amps. So it's running 5160 drivers with 3.5 amps on NEMA 14s. Wow. That's stout. That's some amperage. Huh. I can't get to the motors with the back panel on to feel the heat of them, but I don't feel heat cut. There are vents right behind where the motors are to let the motors breathe, and I don't feel hot air coming out of them. I don't know. Got any eggs you need frying? Let's take a closer look at the benchy shaped object that this produced. So like I said, nowhere near the cleanest. Brighten this up a little bit. So that's too bright. Nowhere near the cleanest by any means. And like what I'm noticing especially is there's a lot of rounding around this corner, the housing corner here. The smokestack, it's veiny. Yeah, I didn't see they had they put the seam toward the back, so I couldn't see it before. I've printed worse too. I've totally printed worse. And what I noticed is the smokestack like necks down just ever so slightly here. It's kind of weird. But this is the perspective you see while it's printing. I mean, I've printed worse and I've seen worse. And it's 8-minute, 30-second Benji. Okay. Okay, from a $429 printer. Here it is next to my 0.2, or 0.1, sorry. Here it is next to my 0.1 with, my 0.1 has a, are they stepping at 1.8 or 0.9? Step count is 200, so 1.8. They're stepping at 1.8. There are 1.8 steppers, so. Most likely to do pretty good at 15-minute. Yeah, something to play with, but I do have an extension on the top hat for my 0.1, so it puts it up just a little bit higher. Gain a little volume inside of there. So, yeah, that is the Sovol Zero. There's an affiliate link in the description if you're interested in checking it out. This is absolutely not a review, of course, but that was interesting benchy to say the least. And like nothing jumps out at me at this machine as being like particularly bad. What we didn't look at is the hot end setup. Let me get this off of here. It keeps clipping back on as I'm trying to unclip it. So this one's clipped on, it's not just magnetic. Okay. Sorry, it's so dark. All right, hot end looks like it's pretty similar to the SV08. Pretty similar to the SV08 looking. Oh, wow. No, that is not the same as the SV08. Look at that freaking heater block. That is a long heater block. I didn't see that hanging there. Let me see if I can get this up and out of the way. Yeah, there we go. SV08 more or less. The SV08 is not nearly that long, is it? Melt zone. Where did I just put my calipers? I had them. Ah, here they are. We heard you wanted some melt zone. Yeah. That is... Now I'm just estimating. This is not a, like, fully properly measuring. That's like 38 millimeters of melt zone. That's like 38 millimeters of melt zone. That's wild. My finger for reference. Very well endowed. Yes, yes it is. So extruder looks like it's an Orbiter clone, so it looks kind of like an Orbiter 1.5. I'm just basing on the housing shape. It looks like kind of Orbiter 1.5 like to me. It should be easy enough to fit in an SB. I mean, it'll be a little long to fit in an SB, but SB with the extended housing, sure. All right. Zoom out. Power down so it quiets down. Hey, it's the first time I can hear myself think in a minute. So not a quiet machine. Nozzle's not quite compatible with SV08. I don't have any of the SV08 stuff here to compare. My SV08 lives with Nomad now, so. All right, folks, that's where we're at. I mean, the freaking, the mini afterburner inside of here is interesting in comparison. Like, it's so much smaller, I feel like. So that is the Sovol Zero. I'm definitely going to play with this. I think I'm going to hold on to this for a little while and play with it a little bit more. This does have replaceable nozzles, yes. So it's got little replaceable nozzles. They sent a brass and a hardened nozzle with it. They did send a brass and a hardened nozzle with it. See if I can show to the camera. Wow, that is very blown out. But overexposed image, but they are just basic nozzles. They don't look like quite like RepRap V6 nozzles. I forget dimensions on RepRaps. I know they're 6mm thread. I just forget where. Any info on whether they fixed the belt path? No idea about belt path. Haven't heard anything about that. So it's 13mm long. How long is a regular RepRap nozzle? It's just a hair longer of a nozzle than a regular RepRap nozzle. It's a hair longer. Yeah, it's like 1mm longer than a regular RepRap nozzle with a shorter threaded section. So, well, at least the nozzle I just grabbed. Just a random nozzle, but. Greetings from Norway at 1:35. Was not supposed to be up at this time, but started building Trident and time ran away. That happens, Anzi. That happens. Happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us. Why have hardened and non-hardened? Non-hardened will heat transfer better. So if you don't need the wear resistance of a hardened nozzle, then a non-hardened nozzle, a brass nozzle, or a copper-plated nozzle will transfer heat into the filament better. So you'll often have to bump up your temperature, extrusion temperature, ever so slightly, a few degrees to 10 degrees, depending on the filament, for a hardened steel nozzle, because it doesn't transfer heat as well. And that can also lead to then like inconsistent stringing, because you got to dial up that heat. Like, yeah. In my opinion, it's not so clear cut. A lot of people seem to think that all machines should come with wear resistant nozzles, and I don't know that I agree with that. Like, if you don't need it, you don't need it. Yeah, it'll last longer, but it can cause problems. So, Anyway, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up, folks. That's going to be the end of this stream and the look at the Sovol Zero. Let's get Gene up here to say goodbye. Gene Bean.
Oh, I woke you.
Oh, chittery, chittery. Want to say goodbye to everybody? Say bye? We want Gene. Yeah. Just woke her, so she's like, why? Why did you wake me? You dragged me in here and then you woke me up. Jesus, Gene hair everywhere. You need a brushing so bad, cat. Thanks for the quick look. Yeah, a little 2.5 hour stream today, taking a look at the Sovol Zero. We learned a few things. We have a few questions still, like how do you run it at 48 volt? Gonna have to like contact Sovol about that and get some clear answers. And maybe we can 48 volt it yet. So, all right, folks, I'm gonna jet. I'm gonna head out. I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for coming around. I gotta head to the studio and get to work on painting yet today. So, see ya.